Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to all things Division 3 soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach, right? I'm not Jackie. And Jackie is sleeping away the morning. Good for her. Hey, I just wanted to do this quick video to run through the top 25 Simple Coach women's rankings for week 4. Some interesting moves here and there, so wanted to run through it quickly. I'm a little bit under the gun running through a lot of this stuff, so lots of videos, lots of work, like regular JOB stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to get this out pretty quickly, so I'm going to dive right into it. By all means, I'll say it at the end. If you think I missed stuff, you think I'm totally nuts, post down below, shoot me an email. Whatever you prefer. Always willing to engage. I have some semblance of crazy logic as to why I pick the teams I do, so happy to explain. All right, so with those caveats, let me jump right into it. At number 25, 5-2-1, Williams, new to the ranking. These next 3 are all new to the ranking. Like I said, maybe I'm late to the party, I don't know. But Williams, since losing to Springfield and Amherst, they've been on a 4-game win streak against Clark, Trinity, Colby, and Bowdoin. Next up is Bates and Southern Maine. So they really do have some good momentum going. So we'll see how that plays out. At 24, again new to the rankings this week. At 8-1, Brandeis. The Judges, I think, yeah. Only loss was a tight game to MIT. I think it was 2-1. And then, again, same thing, 4 wins in a row. Johnson and Wales, Rhode Island, and Trinity were among some of the victims. So they really seem to be making some waves at 8-1. You don't see a lot of those records, so... At 23, another NESCAC at 6-0-1, Wesleyan. There's some impressive results for Wesleyan, including wins at Hamilton. And then they had a home tie against Middlebury, followed by a big win against Tufts. Next up is Hartford, which is out of my rankings just because I don't see them as the team they were last year. But then followed by a pretty massive game against Amherst. So... it should be a pretty interesting week for Wesleyan. At 22, up a spot, 6-1, Emory, UAA. They're idle this week. They face Swanee and then Wash U over the weekend. So, yeah. In 21st spot, down 4. At 6-3, Wisconsin Lacrosse. They've had a rough go of it. They lost to Calvin. They lost to North Central, and then just lost to Christopher Newport at home. So they were taking it on the chin. So let's see if they get a turnaround. In 20th spot, up 1 spot, 5-0-3, Middlebury. They had wins against Castleton and at home against Connecticut. So. Real interesting to see how they proceed forward. They're going to be knee deep in the NESCAC, so we'll see. At 19th spot at 6-0-3, up 1 from last week. NYU. They had 4 wins in a row. They play Scranton on the 1st, followed by Case, which will be a huge game for them. So that Case Western game is going to be massive for both teams, actually. In 18th, up a spot from last week, the defending national champions, Cal Lutheran at 5-0-3. They're working their way back into the conversation, having won 3 in a row. And next up is Occidental and Cal Tech. So we'll see if they keep rolling and quietly keep moving up the ladder. So. At 17, 7-1-1, down a spot, McDaniel. They had wins against Gettysburg and Bryn Mawr. They do have 3 big games coming up against Dickinson, F&M, and Mary Washington, which really should see where they land. If you hadn't had a chance to watch them. Watch. I think it's number 17 in their midfield, who is a really special player. Really, really enjoy what she does. Shout out to her. At 16th, Rowan 6-0-2, down 4 spots. They had a tie at home against Stevens 3-3. Then they turned around and scored 3, beating Rutgers Newark. Their next challenge is going to be on the 19th against Montclair. So, they took a hit for the tie. I would have expected better, but we'll see. Next up in 15th, 6-1-2, University of Paywall. Yes, that's right, University of Rochester. They had wins at Geneseo, then they tied Ithaca away. They're up next is Chicago RIT and Carnegie Mellon. Talk about easy. They're down 2 from last week. And yes, in case you were wondering, they still have me blocked on Exeter. I don't know. In 14th, at 7-0-3, Case Western Reserve. They had a big win at Penn State Barron, and then they tied again. Solid, surprise tie at Wittenberg, and then they beat Ohio Wesleyan. Next up, it's going to be a real challenge. They play NYU, as I mentioned, and then Emory away. So, quite the matchup. Up 2 spots from last week in 13th, 5-1-3. Johns Hopkins. They had a really solid win against Dickinson 4-1, and then they absolutely knocked the stuffing out of Ursinus Bears 6-0. Next up, they have Bryn Mawr and Washington. So maybe they're hitting their stride and got through the really hard parts of the schedule and are now just sort of rolling through conference. So. At number 12, 5-1, the Generals of Washington and Lee, and they just continue winning, right? I don't necessarily watch much of the ODAC, but watch them and really impressed with what they're doing. They, like I said, they just continue winning. Most recently against Shenandoah, they have. This is going to be tough, but they have Lynchburg and Randolph-Macon in the ODAC coming up next. So. In 11th, down 3 spots, 7-1-1, MIT. They lost to Tufts and then they won at Smith. I'll be honest, I think the next couple of weeks should be relatively easy for them, so I'm expecting them to chalk up wins until they face Williams on the 13th. So we'll see how that goes for them. So now to the top 10. At 8-1-1, down a spot from last week, Misericordia. They tied Scranton and lost to Messiah at 2-0 at home. So that hurts. Speaking of, at number 9, 4-1-3, Messiah up a spot. They beat Arcadia 7-0 on the road, just a drubbing. So. They can still play. And Christina Axelson still has game. Watch her. Seriously. For all the ladies in high school and ECNL looking to play, take a look at a Messiah game and watch her run around the midfield. She's just a phenomenal special player. That's why she's Player of the Year. So, okay, at number 8, this undefeatable team. 9-0, Loras College, undefeatable. This time they beat Carleton and then Buena Vista. Next up, they have a tough game against Wisconsin Whitewater. So they're up 3 spots from last week. So they're getting rewarded for the undefeatableness. We'll see if they can keep it up. I think they might be the last undefeatable team, to be quite honest. At number 7, 4-2-1. I still like this team. They're down a spot. Tufts. They had a big win at MIT, and then they turned around and lost 2-1 at Wesleyan. So we'll see. Yeah, that might just be a blip on the radar. So down 2 spots at 6-1-2. Team I love out west, Pomona Pitzer. A win at Occidental, followed by a loss at Chapman. And now to the number 5. Number 5, 7-0-2. Up 2 spots from last week. College of New Jersey. Yes, indeed, the NJAC. I really do think this team is back. They had wins against Susquehanna, which is never easy, and then Kane. So I do think now that they head into the NJAC, it's going to be, we'll see how much high flying they can do. It's going to be a tough road, but I think this team's capable. So at number 4, up a spot, another team that continues to impress me at 7-0-3 on a 5-game winning streak, Carnegie Mellon. They just took down Kenyon and Salisbury by a combined score of 8-0. Like, they can score goals. So, which leads to the top 3. None of it changed from last week. So at number 3, it's 6-0-2. Amherst College, the Mammoths of Amherst. They had a surprise tie against Springfield. Then they beat Bates and Colby by a combined score of 7-0. So don't make them angry. Really, this team can play. Patience Kuhn, just a fantastic forward. So at number 2, the 2022 national champions, Christopher Newport at 7-0-1. They traveled to Wisconsin and took care of Wisconsin Lacrosse and Wisconsin Eau Claire, which was pretty impressive. So, which leads me to number 1. No change. I still think this team's the bomb, and that's the team that everyone's really got to watch out for. 9-0-1, Wash U. They did have a surprise tie at Calvin, but to say that they basically peppered the goal for is an understatement. I literally think that it was like 30 shots to 4 for Calvin. In that game, they just couldn't score. Then they turned around and beat Webster. They face Greenville this week, and then they travel to Emory. So now it's going to start getting really real again with the UAA play. So we'll see how that goes. So that covers the top 25 Simple Coach women's rankings for week 4. Hope you enjoyed it. If you disagree or agree or whatever, you have comments, by all means down below, shoot me an email. More than happy to respond. I answer everything. My crack staff does not answer emails, but I do. Hope you enjoyed. I hope to this time next week, hopefully I'll be a couple days earlier. Just really got backed up with things. So, and then on that note, keep watching a lot of games. Hope we see each other again soon in the next video. Later.